welcome to another video. If you've seen my last week's video, or I don't know when what is coming out, but I'm wearing the same t-shirt, but not because I wear the same t-shirt every day of every week, but just because for me, just like 5 minutes passed since I last filmed, the last video. And yeah, so that's the secret of the industry. Basically, you batch film everything and then you edit like a crazy person. So anyways, today I bring to you another haul, maybe you're thinking, what? You just published the first haul of, the year, this channel in general. I know, because the thing is, that first haul I filmed in like October or something like that. I started filming, pre-producing content pretty early on before even publishing or, launching my channel, because there is no way I can, film and read books to make content about every single week and be up to date with the schedule, So I started pre-producing, and I'm also right now pre-producing for upcoming videos. That's how it goes. Anyways, so since that last haul, I bought a lot of other books as well, and so I didn't want to wait until like March or something, until I have maybe another gazillion books, because I have no self-control, baby. I have to do these pretty much regularly, because otherwise it's gonna be a whole different library going on, and I have no time for that. So this is in no specific order. This haul, I'm resting my arms on the book stacks. So this haul spans basically the months of November and December. Just 2 months, I didn't buy any books as far as January goes. And I hope this stays that way, because, I need to save money. But okay, so starting off, I just picked some random book, and I don't even know when I bought which book, so, well. So starting off, we have Daisy Jones and the Six. I think I bought this pretty early on in November, and I just bought it because I really adored The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, the other book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I really liked the cover, to be honest, and I heard so many nice things about this book that I thought, yeah, I need to buy this. I need to finally read like another book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, moving on, this is one of my most recent purchases, is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, because I have seen this book so often in, my bookshop, in my local bookshop, that I always wanted to buy it because the cover is so beautiful. I really hope this is a great book as well, because otherwise, what am I doing here? But it did kind of remind me, like, reading the blurb of The Island of the Missing Trees by Elif Shafak, and I really loved that book as well. It was not a 5-star for me, but it was pretty decent, and I thought this might as well be something similar. Oops. Now, this book I know I got for Christmas by my sister's boyfriend. Thank you, Julian, again for that. It was on my wish list for some time, and I had it in my wish list because I thought it would be a pretty cool read. I have also heard a lot of good things about it. It's a pretty interesting storyline, and I'm really excited to read this. I just don't know when I'm gonna read this, because I have so many books that I have to read. Now, moving on, this is also one of my most recent purchases in December, obviously. It's My Dark Vanessa. I, was really enthralled with this beautiful cover, I don't know why, it's just hair, It's nothing that special, but I thought it was so unique, so beautiful, and also I know something of the plot a little bit. Not that much, but I know it's kind of dark. And after reading or after listening to A Little Life, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. I mean, it was kind of exaggerated in a way. Like, there was a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse and everything going on, so it was a little bit much. But then I was thinking, like, okay, it's not like I enjoyed it, it's not like I loved it in that way, that I really need to buy it, a physical copy or something, and, annotate it, and, annotate everything. But it was like, it was kind of intriguing in a way. And I know this book is also a little bit dark and a little bit, dealing with more serious topics in a way. So yeah. Now, next up, we have my baby, my love. I bought Babel. You know, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that already because it was like in the beginning of November. I had the ebook version of this book and I started reading it and I really, really love it so much. So I decided like 10% in that I wanted to buy a physical copy so I can annotate everything. And as you can see, it's been going well. Like, I haven't read more than this, you know? It's because, you know, I have also other books to read and I like to annotate it, so it's taking me some time. But yeah, as you can see, the first page that I open is already like annotated the shit out of it. And this is basically the case with every single page. So I really adore this book and I can't wait to finish it, but not in a sense of like, oh my god, this is a chore, it's so boring, I just want to finish with it. I'm like, I just want to know how it finishes, how it's going, you know? And so yeah, so much about that. Now moving on, we have Howl's Moving Castle, you know? This was just such a random buy because I was in Dresden, like visiting my boyfriend's family with him, obviously. And we were at the bookstore with his aunt, and then I saw this book, and I was like, you know, I need it because I'm not a huge fan of Howl's Moving Castle. I just really enjoy, you know, Ghibli movies in general, and so I just liked this movie just as I like any other Ghibli movie. I know some people are really adamant about it, like they really love it so much. I was just, you know, it's a nice story. I don't like it more than, for example, Spirited Away. And I like Spirited Away a lot, so okay. But I saw this and I was like, oh my god. If you don't know, this is the book that Howl's Moving Castle, the movie, is inspired by, you know. This was first, and so I'm really excited to read it. Something similar to Howl's Moving Castle in that sense is Thistlefoot. I first saw it on Throne of Pages, Isabella's channel, and she really talked about it in high notes, in high tones. I don't know how you say that, but I was really interested by this book, really intrigued, and so I bought myself a copy. And I'm really happy about it. I haven't read it yet, but you know, I'm really excited to do so. And yeah, Thistlefoot. The next book is no other, can you see it? But Don Quixote de la Mancha by Miguel de Cervantes. But this is not the original copy or anything, you know, in original old Spanish. But this is, let's say, translation into modern Spanish. But you know, keeping it real to the original story, to everything original, but you know, in a more understandable Spanish for me, for example. And it's by, you know, the translation is by Andres Trapillejo. And I'm really excited because it's still chunky, still, you know, promising in that way. But I really am looking forward to understand what is going on. I mean, you can still understand the original text, but it's a little bit difficult if you don't know some specific words, if you're just not, you know, in that linguistic field. You know, I'm just a noob. I just speak Spanish, can read Spanish and everything, but this is gonna help me a lot. So if you're like me, maybe a Spanish speaker, a Spanish native, something like that, or even someone who's learning Spanish and wants to read this big classic, Don Quixote de la Mancha, but you're struggling a little bit to understand, you know, 1600 Spanish, then maybe this is a book for you, because it's in modern day Spanish, and so you're gonna understand it a little bit more. I think probably there's still gonna be some words that you don't understand, but it's not gonna be like every second word, you know, like in the original text. Now, moving on from that one, The Ninth House. Or Ninth House, I don't know, by Leigh Bardugo. Yeah, I don't know, this was a really spontaneous buy. It's a really small book, to be honest. It's like smaller than any other book. I don't know why I bought it, to be honest. I'm like, yeah, I just jumped on the trend train, I guess. And I don't know what to expect by this book. if I'm gonna love it or I'm gonna hate it, but I'm just really excited. I like the cover, I like, you know, the premise of the book. Now the next book is actually a book that I bought together with my boyfriend, so it's not just my book, but also my boyfriend's book, and that is Mythos by Stephen Fry. The both of us are very interested in like Greek mythology and everything, and Greek mythology retellings. And so when we saw this book in Vienna sometime early December, and actually we bought it at the Shakespeare and Company bookstore, you know. It's not the original because the original isn't even, you know, working anymore. It closed down in the 30s or something, and the Shakespeare and Company that we all know and love in Paris isn't even the original. It's just, you know, they took the name and used it. And so this also, the Shakespeare and Company in Vienna is, you know, just the franchise. And we bought Mythos there. And I haven't read it yet. I'm really excited to do so because, as I said, I'm really interested in Greek mythology and Greek mythology retellings. And so, yeah. The next book, as I said, interested in mythology. Not just Greek at that point, because this is supposed to be playing in like Pompeii, so in Italy, so in Roman Empire, so Roman mythology basically. But I don't know if it's really mythology, to be honest. I haven't read it. I just knew very little about this book when I bought it. It was also very like in a whim. It talks about a woman's story, but I don't know if she's like a goddess or some mythical figure in Roman mythology. I have to figure that out, and yeah, I'm still very excited to read this because I've never read or heard anything about, you know, Roman mythology retellings or anything. It's very Greek mythology based, you know, in general in the literary industry. But yeah, I would be very happy if you could give me, you know, some recommendations about any other mythology books of other mythologies, not just, you know, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, African mythology, whatever you want. I'd be very interested in that. Next up, we have another dark academia-ish book, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, I know you should read this one first before you read If We Were Villains. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't know much about this book. I just know it's a classic, or it's considered a classic by most. And yeah, it's dark academia, I guess, whatever, I don't know. The only thing that I know is that I bought this book and I wished for the other book after reading or diving into Babel, even though I didn't even finish, or I haven't even finished the book because I will finish it. Yeah, and so I was very interested. I'm really digging the dark academia vibe, but the real dark academia, not just the aesthetic, but the critique on academia. And so yeah, really excited to read that one. Now moving on, because we have to make this quick, The Kite Runner. So I already listened to this audiobook and I bought the copy because I really freaking adored it. It's the story about Afghani boys. You know, I can't tell much about it, but this one boy like emigrates to the United States after something terrible happens to the other boy, and he can't get over it and whatever. And so yeah, it tackles, you know, the 70s, I think. Yeah, 1975. It tackles the 70s and the 80s in Afghanistan, and, you know, present day and so on. Present day in as of 2000 something, like not present day. And yeah, I really loved it. It's very well written. It's intriguing. It's beautiful. It's haunting. You should really read this, but with a lot of, you know, look up the trigger warnings because there are some very mature and difficult topics in here. Yeah, just, you know, look up your trigger warnings. And after reading this book, or after listening to this book and, you know, buying it, I also bought A Thousand Splendid Suns. This is the second, or I don't know, it's another book by the same author, Khaled Hosseini. I don't even know how you say that name, but yeah. it's basically also a story about, you know, Afghanistan, and because that's his home country, obviously, you know, and it's very interesting as well. I feel like I will really like this as well, because most people have actually just read this one and not even The Kite Runner. I'm like, girl, what? So I'm really excited to read this too, but at some other time, you know. Now, last or almost last but not least, we have no other but Ariadne. I said that kind of weird. Ariadne. Yeah. What can I tell you about it? You know everything about it, don't you? It's just a Greek myth retelling, really popular. I just started reading it. I'm just in page 14, so I don't know much about it. I can't tell you anything about it, really. It's about the Princess of Crete, Ariadne, and like her sister or something like that. So yeah, I don't know where this is going, what's going to happen or anything, but there are many other channels that talk about this book. So yeah, I was just so hyped. And as you can see, it's maybe a trend with all of these books. Most of these books are, you know, based on recommendations that I got from other YouTubers, or, you know, BookTok. So we're all victims of the algorithm. So the last book is actually Invicto. This is a book that I got for university, more so Spanish class, and we have to read this book here in class, or for class, not in class, you know. It's basically, I don't know if a self-help book or something like that. I haven't read much about it, you know. I haven't read much in the book, so there's that. But I feel like it's pretty interesting. It's like about stoicism and stuff like that, and how to live your life better. So I feel like everyone could use a little bit of that wisdom. But yeah, those were the books that I got in like the last 2 months. I hope the number doesn't grow too much in the next 2 months, because I have to save money, as I said. But yeah. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please consider giving it a like. Comment down below which books you bought in the last couple of months, or which books you are most excited to read next, and also maybe consider, I don't know if I said this already, but giving it a like, you know, the basic stuff. Also subscribe if you want to see more of me and this little channel, and, you know, my book opinions and stuff like that. This would help me a lot to grow, to keep doing these videos. And yeah, I will see you in another one. Bye!